Hello friends, Glage back to another Punishing Grey Raven video today, and since we've got a decent influx of new players thanks to the Steam release of PGR, and the fact that we have an S-rank selector on this current patch with the ongoing missions, and a lot of players will be starting to unlock this next week, I figured this is a good time to go over who the options are for the S-rank selector and who is going to most benefit you as a newer player trying to get your account built up. So if you've watched my prior videos on S-rank selectors, you kind of know what to expect here, and more than likely you've already discerned who you want to take with this particular selector. But for you newer folks looking for the best way to improve your account, this should help you narrow down your choices a little bit. First and foremost, though, if there is a unit on here that you absolutely love, that you adore, that you've been wanting to have on your roster, and this is a way for you to get them for free, absolutely feel free to take them. PGR is not just about meta. It's not just about scoring high in Warzone and Pain Cage. Playing gacha games is about playing characters you think are cool. So if one of these older characters is someone you've been wanting to have, do not let me or anyone tell you it is not right to pick them. It is all about having the units you have fun playing, and that always matters. But if you are looking for the meta choices, what will improve your account the most, what will give you the most flexibility and help you start scoring better with various teams in various war zones and stuff, then we're going to go over those choices here. And basically what we're going to do is right out the gate, we are going to eliminate anyone that is no longer meta on their teams or that can be gotten for free from the voucher shop or the dorm commission shop. So that effectively leaves us with 4 realistic choices, and those are Hanying Solistune, the physical tank, is one of the options that would be a good choice since she is not free and not available readily from vouchers or anything. Lucia Pyro Oath, the fire attacker, is also available on this selector. We also have Nanami Star Trail, the lightning tank, who is on multiple teams. And lastly, the final character available on this selector is Ishmael Parhelion. Now, if you want the TLDR, who do I pick if I just want to help my account out the most out the gate as a newer player? Here it is. Pick Ishmael. This is the easiest choice you're ever going to have. Ishmael is the most flexible unit in all of PGR. She can act as an amplifier or a tank fill-in. She will never be quite as good as the actual amplifier on a given elemental team or quite as good as the actual tank on an elemental team, but she will be a very, very close fill-in, and of course she's still key in making the Nihil team go at all, along with Luna Oblivion. Luna's also on this selector, by the way, but she got her leap a couple patches ago and thus is in the voucher shop for free, so I would not recommend picking her up that way. But if you are working on other voucher characters and you don't think you can spare the ones to get Luna online and ready to go, she is a viable choice from this S-rank selector, as she is the focal point for making the Nihil team go. But Ishmael will absolutely give you the most mileage. Ishmael fits on literally any team that is not physical-based damage, so any of the regular elements, fire, ice, lightning, dark, she will be a fill-in for either an amplifier or a tank. And we have learned that since Rosetta has come out, that Ishmael will actually mimic the most latest tank in that particular element, which means that she mimics the Breaker class if you put her on the dark team as the tank fill-in. So something to keep in mind there. If you just want to get the most bang for your buck, it is absolutely take Ishmael. She fills so many roles. She lets you kind of kick the can down the road on getting amplifiers and tanks for other teams, especially if they are characters that you get for free. That is an option to kind of save your vouchers for other things. So if you just want the fast track to getting the most out of the selector, Ishmael, if you do not have her, is basically as good as it gets. So strongly consider picking her up if you're a newer player. Hanying is very, very strong still. She is still a very important part of both the physical and Ultima Slash teams, especially the Ultima Slash team, as she is the primary stack builder for that elemental effect. And with Rosetta's release, the Ultima Slash team just got a massive boost. So Han Ying is still very relevant. The one thing I will caution you about picking up Han Ying is that she is a rather expensive unit to build. She really wants to be double S3 with her signature weapon and some resonances to be the functional tank for both the physical and the Ultima Slash teams. If you are just going to get one copy of her, if you're only going to be able to take her to double S, I would not recommend picking up Han Ying with the Selector, and that pains me because this is probably my single favorite unit to play in the entire game. But she is expensive to build, and on top of that, she is the most likely of these 4 characters I'm highlighting from the Selector to get replaced in the near future. I will not be totally shocked if Han Ying is replaced by one of the 3 characters we have already had shown that will be coming out in the first half of the year. So do keep that in mind with Han Ying. Even if a new physical tank comes out, let's spitball and say maybe Kamwi's new frame is going to be a physical tank. She will still be the crux of the Ultima Slash team, so it's not like she won't give you something on the team, but just a unit that only fits one elemental effect is still going to be pretty limited overall in what she can do. And again, pretty expensive to build. The one thing I will say, if you have Han Ying at double S and you have her signature weapon, she's well built and you're on your way, it is worth considering this just to get her to double S3, because the difference for this character between double S and double S3 is a massive leap and makes her much more functional for her teams. So definitely an option, but this is probably the most buyer beware of these 4 available units. As for Lucia, Lucia remains the meta fire attacker on the fire team. She still does a ton of damage on that team. She is also currently the main character for cashing out damage for the Plasma Blade team, although more often than not, if that team is an option in Warzone, it tends to score lower than whatever the other elemental effects available are in a given week. Plasma Beam does require a whole lot of setup time, and Lucia is really the only character capable of actually utilizing that elemental effect damage very well. But she will still remain on the fire team for a good while. She's not getting replaced anytime soon. The next character in line to be replaced on the fire team is absolutely Watanabe, who is also on the Selector, but again, can be gotten for free from the voucher shop, and again, is probably at least getting close to getting a replacement sometime this year. So I would not recommend him for both of those reasons. But Lucia will buff up your fire team, will set you up to use the Plasma Blade team. And of course, you know, she's the main character of PGR. If you are a Lucia stan, you don't have her yet, this is probably a pretty easy pickup for you, but she will serve you very well. Also, if you don't have Vera Garivor yet, your fire team is going to be very, very lacking for damage. That will make Lucia even more appealing to get, especially if you do already have Ishmael. Ishmael can slot in and replace Vera as the fire amplifier on this team, so something to consider there. But if your fire team is lacking, Lucia is absolutely worth your consideration. Lastly, Nanami fits into multiple teams as well. She is still the lightning tank for the lightning team, although her DPS role has been greatly diminished thanks to the release of Live Limpidity. But even with that, she is still a key part of that squad. She still sees field time and does very solid damage overall. She is also on both the Ignition team as the sub DPS and on the Plasma Blade team as the tank, just to do some lightning shred and make Plasma Blade a little bit stronger. So she slots into multiple teams. She also is not in line to be replaced anytime soon. The next lightning character to be replaced is going to be 21 Feral. 21 Feral is now our single oldest character that is still meta, quote unquote. She actually debuted quite a while ago, almost around the same time Crimson Weave did. So this character is due to get replaced in the very near future. So Nanami is going to have meta teams to be on and to utilize for at least a good while moving forward. And again, she is currently part of 3 different meta teams. Although the Plasma Blade team is probably her least impactful, she is just there to do some shred. She does not actually do Plasma Blade damage by herself. So that pretty much goes over the main options I would consider. Again, this is a big selector. There's a lot of options available. If there's someone you really want, go get them. Don't worry about what some dude on YouTube is telling you for meta purposes. But if you're looking to bolster your account, If you don't have Ishmael, this is a pretty much slam dunk. Just get Ishmael, you'll thank me later. It sets up a whole lot of potential flexibility for your account. And then any of those other three are perfectly fine choices. Again, Han Ying, if you can't take her to double S3, I would say probably not worth it as much as that pains me. But either Lucia or Nanami will serve your account very, very well and will get your scores up for those respective teams going forward. So if you have any questions, if you're struggling with who you want to pick and who you want to get out of this S-rank selector and this video didn't help you narrow it down enough, feel free to leave me some questions down in the comments with where you're at on your account, what your teams look like. I will try to give you my best advice on how you can maximize this S-rank selector, because we don't get these very often. If you started with the global sync, it felt like we got S-rank selectors fairly regularly, but again, that's because we condensed like 20-some patches into less than a year. So we only see S-rank selectors about 2 to 3 times a year throughout the PGR patches. So you'll want to make the most of this. Make sure you're actually doing all these missions, of course. They're very easy to do. It's basically just doing the game modes you would be doing anyway on a daily and weekly basis. These are not hard to clear out, so you should have no problem getting the S-rank selector in the next week when the 3rd round of missions roll up. So but yeah, that's going to do it for this one. I just wanted to do something kind of short and sweet here while I continue to work on the next lore video. I will also be working on the Ultima Slash guide update as soon as we get a proper Warzone for it. Unfortunately, this week I can't really get good testing out of Warzone for this because we have the physical greatly increases, but Ultima Slash only slightly. This means that when I'm doing Ultima Slash damage, that Veronica's still doing more damage than either of them because she's getting the extra damage boost. So as soon as I can do proper testing, I will have an updated guide for Ultima Slash as well. And of course, I will have more stuff as we go on through the patch, getting ready for what's coming next and all that good stuff. But as always, I appreciate all the feedback, support. Again, if you have questions or want some input on who I think you should take with the S-rank selector, feel free to leave those down below. And yeah, that's going to do it for this one. So as always, appreciate you all. If you want to do all the YouTube nonsense on the way out, like, comment, subscribe. It's always appreciated. It's never necessary. But for now, I'm going to get back to playing some of the event modes and continuing to slowly work on my notes and the script for the next lore videos. So y'all take care, be good to each other, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.